Ethan Cole was not a hero. He was a mechanic, a man who spent his days fixing engines, patching hulls, and bargaining with smugglers for spare parts. Space was big, cold, and uncaring, but Ethan had made his place in it. He worked at the edge of the Orion Belt where broken ships came to die and scavengers came to get rich. On that day, he found something that should not have existed. The derelict ship drifted in the darkness, its hull torn open like a wound. It had no beacon, no signal, no life signs. It was silent, dead. Ethan thought it was just another scrap job. But when his salvage craft docked and he stepped inside, he felt it. The silence was too heavy, too sharp. His boots echoed down empty corridors filled with floating dust. And then he saw the door. Unlike the rest of the ship, rusted and broken, this door was smooth, black, and untouched. Strange glowing lines ran across it, pulsing faintly like veins of light. Ethan had never seen technology like it. His hands trembled as he touched the surface. The door slid open without sound. Inside, the chamber was round, its walls carved with alien symbols. At the center sat a stone-like object, floating a few inches above a pedestal. It was small, no larger than his hand, but it radiated power. It wasn't metal, wasn't stone. It was something else, something alive. The moment Ethan stepped forward, the relic turned toward him. A low hum filled the room. The lines on the walls lit up, glowing brighter, forming patterns that danced around him. His chest tightened. His vision blurred. He heard whispers, alien voices speaking in a language he couldn't understand. Yet somehow the meaning reached him. "You are chosen." Ethan staggered back, heart pounding. The relic pulsed with light and shot forward, striking his chest. He gasped as warmth spread through his body, burning yet gentle like fire and ice together. Symbols burned into his skin like tattoos, glowing briefly before fading. He fell to his knees. When his vision cleared, the relic was gone. Or no, he realized with horror, it was inside him. The ship trembled. For the first time in centuries, its engines roared weakly to life. Alarms blared. The chamber's walls shifted, closing around him. He sprinted out, lungs burning as the derelict shook violently. But outside things were worse. 3 ships were waiting. Not scavengers, hunters. Sleek alien crafts, their hulls covered in jagged spikes, surrounded his small salvage vessel. A voice cracked through his comms, harsh and demanding. "Human, the relic is ours. Surrender or die." Ethan froze. How did they know? He had only just found it. But deep inside him, the relic pulsed like a heartbeat. It spoke again, not in words, but in feelings. Run, escape, survive. His salvage craft was no match for them. They opened fire, plasma bolts tearing through the derelict and shaking his ship. Ethan cursed, slamming controls, forcing his battered vessel into motion. Metal groaned. Warning lights flashed. He darted through the wreckage field, trying to lose them. But the hunters were faster. Another blast struck his engines. Smoke filled the cockpit. Ethan gritted his teeth, prepared to die, when the relic surged inside him. His hands moved without thought, guided by something greater. He slammed a switch he didn't even know existed. The ship bent light. For a moment, stars stretched into lines, the universe spinning. A wormhole opened where nothing should exist. His ship dove through, vanishing before the hunters could react. Then, silence. Ethan's craft floated in calm space, far from the Orion Belt. His body shook. His breath came in gasps. He looked down at his trembling hands. They glowed faintly, symbols flickering across his skin before fading again. "What? What have you done to me?" he whispered. The relic gave no answer. But deep inside, he knew his life would never be the same. Somewhere across the galaxy, enemies now hunted him, and the relic had chosen him for a destiny he did not understand. Ethan Cole, mechanic, scavenger, nobody, had just become the center of something far greater than himself. Ethan did not know how long he drifted. His salvage craft was badly damaged, lights flickering, oxygen low. The wormhole had thrown him into an unknown sector of space. His nav computer could not recognize the stars. For hours he sat in silence, wondering if he had escaped only to die here, lost and alone. His thoughts circled back to the relic. He could still feel it deep inside his chest like a second heartbeat. Sometimes it pulsed with warmth. Sometimes it was cold, heavy like stone. It did not speak again, but its presence never left. Finally, a shadow fell over his cockpit. A massive ship appeared, dwarfing his little craft. Its design was unlike anything he had ever seen. Smooth, curved, with bright silver plates that shimmered in the light of a distant star. It did not bristle with weapons like the hunter's ships. Instead, it moved with calm authority. A voice filled his comms. Calm, clear, but commanding. Unidentified human vessel. This is the Council ship Orion. Power down your engines. You will not be harmed. Ethan had no choice. His engines were nearly dead anyway. He raised his hands and whispered, "Guess I'm about to find out who you are." The Orion pulled him in with a tractor beam. His ship rattled as it entered a glowing hangar bay. For the first time since the Relic had chosen him, Ethan felt something strange, safety. The moment he stepped out, tall figures surrounded him. They were aliens, graceful, elegant, their skin shimmering with faint colors like pearls. Each one was dressed in flowing robes that glowed faintly, marked with patterns like constellations. Their eyes, large and bright, studied him with both curiosity and suspicion. One stepped forward, taller than the rest, with silver bands around his wrists. His voice carried weight. "You carry it," Ethan blinked. "Carry what?" The alien's eyes narrowed. "The relic of Eternum. Do not lie. We feel its power inside you." Ethan's heart pounded. They knew. Just like the hunters, these aliens also wanted the relic. But unlike the hunters, they did not raise weapons. Instead, they led him through glowing corridors, toward a vast chamber filled with light. It was a council hall. Dozens of alien leaders sat in a circle, their robes flowing, their faces stern. Above them, a hologram of the galaxy shimmered, stars turning slowly. The leader spoke again. "For centuries, our people have searched for the relic. It is not a weapon, human. It is a key, a memory of an ancient age. We thought only our kind could bear it. Yet it chose you." Ethan swallowed hard. "I didn't ask for this. I don't even know what it wants." Whispers filled the chamber. Some looked at him with awe, others with fear. One alien slammed a hand on the table. "He is dangerous. A human cannot control such power. Remove it from him." Ethan took a step back. "Hey, I didn't steal it." "It jumped into me. If you can take it out, be my guest." But the leader shook his head. "No. Once the relic chooses, it cannot be removed. You are bound to it, and now—" "So are we." The chamber grew tense. Ethan felt the relic stir inside him, pulsing faster, as if reacting to their voices. He gritted his teeth, pressing a hand against his chest. The leader raised his hand for silence. "Listen, all of you. The relic's choice is not chance. It is always chosen in times of crisis. If it has chosen this human, then fate has decided he has a role to play." Another alien sneered. "A role or a threat? The hunters already know he carries it. They will come for him. They will come for all of us." The room erupted into arguments. Ethan stood in the center, lost, overwhelmed. He felt like a child standing in the middle of gods. And then, he saw her. From the far side of the chamber, a new figure entered. She was taller than most, her presence sharp yet graceful. Her armor shimmered like silver crystal, but her face was uncovered. Her eyes were the color of storm clouds, deep and unreadable. The council fell silent as she approached. "This is Princess Kaelin," the leader said, "guardian of the relic's legacy." She stopped in front of Ethan, looking down at him with clear disdain. "So this is the human it chose?" Ethan forced a nervous smile. "Yeah, lucky me." Her eyes narrowed, and for a moment Ethan thought she might strike him. But instead she turned to the council. "If the relic has chosen him, then it is my duty to guard him. But I do not trust him. Humans are reckless, weak, short-lived. This one may doom us all." Ethan felt his face flush. "Hey, I may not glow in the dark like you, but I didn't ask for this. I just want answers." The princess studied him for a long moment, then said coldly, "Then you will earn them. You will prove you are worthy, or the relic will destroy you and everything around you." The council agreed. Ethan's fate was sealed. From that moment, he was no longer just a mechanic. He was the chosen bearer of the relic, a human caught in the center of alien destiny. And by his side, whether he liked it or not, was a princess who did not believe in him. The galaxy was watching, and the true test had only begun. The next day began with no peace. Ethan was taken from the council hall to a training chamber deep inside the Orion. The room was round, its walls glowing faint blue, filled with strange weapons and combat dummies. Waiting for him was Princess Kaelin, her arms crossed, her sharp eyes fixed on him. She looked less like royalty and more like a warrior. Her armor shimmered faintly, and an energy blade rested at her side. Ethan felt very small in comparison. "You are weak," she said bluntly. "The relic chose you, but that does not mean you can survive with it. You must learn to fight. You must learn to control it." Ethan rubbed the back of his neck. "I fix ships, princess. I don't swing swords." Her eyes narrowed. "If you cannot fight, then you will die. And if you die, the relic dies with you. That is unacceptable." Before he could argue, she threw him a staff made of silver metal. Ethan caught it clumsily, nearly dropping it. She raised her own blade, its edge glowing with blue fire. "Defend yourself." "What?" "No, wait," but she was already moving. Kaelin struck fast, forcing Ethan to block. The staff vibrated in his hands as her blade crashed against it. He stumbled back, panic in his chest. Again and again she attacked, her movements sharp and precise. Ethan barely managed to raise the staff in time, sparks flying with each impact. "Stop holding it like a broom," she snapped. "Focus!" Ethan's arms burned. Sweat dripped down his forehead. He wanted to drop the staff and walk away, but then the relic pulsed inside him. His vision sharpened. His hand steadied. For a brief moment, he moved faster, blocking her strike with surprising strength. Kaelin's eyes flickered in surprise. Ethan blinked. Did I just do that?" The relic pulsed again, almost like a heartbeat. He could feel its rhythm guiding his movements, making him stronger. For the first time, he swung the staff back at Kaelin. She blocked easily, but her expression changed. "Interesting," she murmured. "It does not just live inside you. It protects you." Before Ethan could answer, alarms blared across the ship. Red lights flashed. A mechanical voice echoed through the chamber. "Warning. Enemy vessels approaching. Multiple signatures, hunters." Kaelin stiffened. She turned to him sharply. "Stay close to me." "They have come for the relic." The training chamber doors burst open. Soldiers in black armor stormed inside. Tall, jagged-looking aliens with red glowing eyes. Their weapons hissed with energy. Ethan froze. "Oh no, not again." Kaelin's blade lit up. "Fight, human!" The first hunter charged at Ethan. His heart pounded, but the relic surged again, filling his body with strange energy. He swung the staff wildly, expecting to fail. But it connected, striking the hunter's chest and sending him crashing into the wall. Ethan gasped. I actually hit him." Kaelin spun through the attackers, her blade cutting arcs of blue light. She moved like a storm. Every strike precise, every motion deadly. Ethan did his best to follow, blocking when he could, striking when the relic seemed to guide him. Still, the hunters kept coming. One raised a rifle, aiming straight at Ethan's chest. His heart stopped. There was no way he could block this. But the relic moved first. A burst of light exploded from Ethan's body, forming a shimmering shield. The energy bolt struck the shield and ricocheted into the wall. The hunter stumbled back in shock. Ethan stared at his glowing hands. What was that?" Kaelin's eyes widened, then narrowed with suspicion. "The relic is awakening." Before they could regroup, more hunters swarmed the chamber. Kaelin grabbed Ethan's arm. "We cannot hold them here. Move." They sprinted through the corridors of the Orion. Sirens wailed, lights flickered, soldiers rushed to hold the enemy back. Ethan's chest burned with every step, the relic's energy still crackling in his veins. "Why are they after me?" he shouted as they ran. "Because the relic is power," Kaelin said sharply. "Power to rule or power to destroy. If they take you, they will tear it from your body. And then," her voice darkened, "then the galaxy will burn." Ethan's blood ran cold. He had never asked for this, but now he was being hunted across the stars because of something he didn't understand. They reached the hangar, where sleek fighters roared to life. Kaelin pushed him toward one. "Get in!" Ethan hesitated. "Wait, you're flying with me, right?" She gave him a hard look. "Do you think I trust you with my life, human?" "Yes, I am coming." The fighters launched into space just as the hunter ships broke through the fleet. Explosions lit up the void. The Orion shook under heavy fire. Kaelin's voice rang through the comms. "Stay close. Follow my lead." Ethan gripped the controls with trembling hands. His little fighter twisted through enemy fire, lasers streaking past. He was no pilot, but the relic was. It guided his movements, sharp turns and sudden dives, saving him again and again. Through the chaos, Kaelin's voice reached him. "Do you feel it now, human? Do you see? The relic chose you for a reason." Ethan swallowed hard, sweat dripping down his face. "Yeah, well, I wish it had chosen someone else." But deep inside he knew the truth. The relic wasn't just protecting him, it was pushing him forward toward something bigger, and as the battle raged on, he realized this was only the beginning. The battle had been chaos. Explosions tore through the void. Ships screamed and burned as energy blasts filled the dark. Yet somehow Ethan and Kalen had survived. Their small fighter darted between wreckage and enemy fire, guided by both Kalen's sharp commands and the strange instincts the relic poured into Ethan's mind. At last they broke free from the main fight, diving into the shadow of an asteroid field. The silence that followed felt heavy, almost unreal. Ethan leaned back in his seat, breathing hard, his hands shaking on the controls. "Tell me we're safe." Kalen's voice was steady, but her jaw was tight. "Safe? No, hidden, yes." For now, their fighter weaved through the maze of jagged rocks. Asteroids drifted slowly, lit only by distant starlight. It was dangerous, but it was the only place they could vanish. At last, Kalen gave the order to power down the engines. The fighter drifted silently into a hollow space between two massive stones. For the first time since the relic had entered his life, Ethan let out a shaky laugh. "I can't believe I'm still alive." Kalen's storm gray eyes turned to him. She did not smile. "You should not be alive. A normal human would have died 10 times already. The relic saved you." Ethan looked down at his hands. He could still feel its pulse inside him, steady and strong. "Why me? I don't get it. Why not one of you? You're stronger, faster, smarter." Kalen's gaze hardened. "That is the question we all ask. Why would it choose a fragile being with no training, no history, no worth?" Ethan flinched. "Thanks for the pep talk." But before Kalen could answer, the relic stirred inside him. His chest grew hot. His vision blurred. Suddenly, he was no longer inside the fighter. He was standing in a vast battlefield of ash and fire. Colossal ships burned in the skies above. Armies of alien warriors clashed below, their weapons tearing holes in the earth. The air reeked of smoke and blood, and at the center of it all he saw the relic. Not small, not quiet, massive, blazing like a star. Its power washed over the battlefield, consuming friend and foe alike. Entire cities crumbled in its light. A voice whispered through the chaos. "If you fail, it will happen again," Ethan gasped, clutching his chest. The vision vanished. He was back in the fighter, sweat dripping from his face, his breath ragged. Kalen's eyes widened. "What happened?" He shook his head, trying to steady himself. "I saw a war, millions dying, the relic destroying everything. It wasn't protecting anyone. It was killing them all." Kalen's voice grew low. "Yes, the relic is not just power. It is memory. It carries the truth of the old wars when entire civilizations were burned by its light. That is why it must never fall into the wrong hands." Ethan stared at her. "Then why put it in me?" "I don't want this." "I never asked for it." Kalen's eyes softened just slightly. "No one asks for destiny, human. It either breaks you or makes you." The silence stretched. For the first time, Ethan saw something different in her eyes. Not just disdain, but also a shadow of pain, as if she too carried burdens she had never asked for. Before he could speak, the fighter's sensors beeped sharply. Kalen snapped her head to the screen. "Enemy scouts. They are searching the field." Ethan cursed under his breath. "We can't fight them, not out here." "No," Kalen agreed, her hand gripping her blade. "We must run." But as the hunters' ships closed in, the relic pulsed again. Ethan felt its energy rising, filling his body. His vision blurred with patterns of starlight, lines of movement, paths through the asteroids. He saw the way. "Follow me," he said suddenly, his voice steadier than he expected. Kalen frowned. "You cannot lead. You do not know this terrain. I don't know how, but I can see it." The relic guided his hands across the controls. Their fighter darted forward, weaving through narrow gaps, twisting past spinning rocks. Kalen's eyes widened in surprise as Ethan pulled off maneuvers no untrained human should be able to survive. The hunters gave chase, but one by one they struck the asteroids, their ships breaking apart in fiery bursts. Ethan's path was too sharp, too precise for them to follow. At last, the scanner cleared. The hunters were gone. Ethan slumped back in his seat, chest heaving. "I don't believe it. We actually made it." Kalen stared at him for a long moment, then nodded slowly. For the first time, her voice held a trace of respect. "Perhaps you are not entirely hopeless." Ethan smirked weakly. "Wow, high praise coming from you." She did not smile, but she did not scold him either. Instead, she looked out at the stars, her voice quiet. The relic chose you for a reason, human, perhaps. One day we will understand why. And in that silence drifting among the asteroids, Ethan realized something he had not before. He was no longer just running. He was being pulled towards something bigger than fear, bigger than survival. Destiny had already caught him. The asteroid field gave them a short rest, but not peace. Kaylin knew the hunters would return with greater numbers. She guided Ethan to a hidden outpost, a moon base carved into stone, long abandoned but still usable. There they found silence, shelter, and space to breathe. For Ethan, it was the first time he'd been able to sit without alarms blaring or enemies chasing him. Yet peace brought no comfort. His chest still pulsed with the relic's energy, and his mind kept flashing with images of that terrible war. He sat on a metal crate, head in his hands. I'm not built for this. I fix engines, not fight galactic wars. I can't do it, Kaylin. I can't carry this thing. Kaylin stood nearby, arms crossed. Her storm gray eyes studied him, but her voice was calm. You are afraid. That is natural. But fear will not change what you are. The relic chose you, not me, not anyone else. And now you must rise or you will fall. Ethan laughed bitterly. Rise? I can barely swing a stick without tripping over my own feet. Kaylin stepped forward, pulling her blade from its sheath. Its edge glowed with soft blue light. Then we train. From now until you can no longer stand, we train. And when you fall, you stand again. That is the way, Ethan groaned. I knew you were going to say that. And so the training began. Every day, Kaylin pushed him. She taught him how to hold a staff, how to block, how to move with balance. She drilled him until sweat poured from his skin, until his arms burned and his legs felt like stone. When he failed, she made him repeat the motion again and again. At first, Ethan hated her for it. His body ached, his chest felt heavy, and his pride cracked with every mistake. He stumbled. He dropped weapons. He fell. But slowly the relic began to respond. Each time he reached his breaking point, the relic pulsed, giving him just enough strength to rise again. His vision would sharpen, his steps would grow lighter. He began to feel the rhythm of combat, the flow of movement, and Kaylin noticed. You are learning, she admitted one night, after he managed to disarm her for the first time, though she took the weapon back a heartbeat later. Clumsy, weak, but learning. Ethan smirked through his exhaustion. That almost sounded like a compliment. Her lips pressed tight, but she did not deny it. Still, Ethan's doubts remained. No matter how hard he tried, he could not forget the vision, the relic destroying everything. He feared what would happen if he lost control. That fear became real sooner than he expected. It happened on the third night. They were eating a small meal in the outpost when alarms suddenly screamed. The walls shook as explosions echoed through the base. The hunters had found them. Kaylin leapt to her feet, blade in hand. Stay behind me! But Ethan's chest burned hot, too hot. The relic was stirring, restless, alive. He could feel the hunters outside, their hunger for its power. His body trembled as light flickered under his skin. The doors burst open. Hunters stormed inside, their red eyes glowing in the dark. Energy rifles aimed at Kaylin, at him. Ethan froze. His mind screamed at him to move, to fight, but his body locked. Kaylin stood her ground, blade flashing, cutting down the first attackers. But there were too many. A blast struck her shoulder, forcing her to one knee. She grit her teeth, refusing to fall, but Ethan saw it. She was in danger. Something inside him broke. The relic roared to life. Ethan screamed as light exploded from his body. His skin glowed with burning symbols, his eyes shone like fire. A wave of pure energy blasted outward, hurling the hunters back like rag dolls. Their armor shattered, their weapons melted. The walls cracked with the force. When the light faded, silence filled the chamber. The hunters lay scattered, unmoving. Smoke curled from the walls. Ethan stood in the center, chest heaving, his body trembling. His hands glowed faintly before dimming. Kaylin rose slowly, clutching her wounded shoulder, her eyes wide. For the first time, there was no disdain in her gaze, only shock. You unleashed it, she whispered. Ethan looked down at his hands, horror and awe mixing inside him. I didn't mean to, it just happened. Kaylin stepped closer, studying him as if seeing him for the first time. No human should have survived that, but you are still standing. Ethan swallowed hard. That wasn't me. That was the relic. And if I lose control again, Kalen cut him off sharply. Then you must learn control. No more doubt, no more fear. The relic chose you, Ethan Cole, and now I begin to understand why. Her words hung heavy in the air. For the first time, Ethan felt something strange from her, respect. But deep inside, he also felt the truth. This power was not a gift. It was a storm waiting to break. And if he failed to control it, the vision he had seen would come true. The relic was awakening, and so was his destiny. The outpost was silent again. The hunters' bodies lay broken, their weapons smoldering from Ethan's unleashed power. Yet the silence was heavy, full of questions neither he nor Kalen could answer. Ethan sat against the wall, chest still glowing faintly, skin marked with fading lines of light. His whole body ached, but the pain wasn't what terrified him. It was the memory of what he had just done. He had destroyed them without thought. Without control, Kalen knelt across from him, her shoulder bound with cloth where the blast had struck her. Her storm-gray eyes never left his face. She had fought many battles, seen countless warriors, but never anything like this. Finally, she spoke. You are not just carrying the relic. You are merging with it. Ethan shook his head. No, I'm losing myself to it. You saw what happened. I could have killed you too. If I can't control it, Kalen cut him off, voice firm. Then you must learn. That is the only path. The relic chose you for a reason. Ethan buried his face in his hands. Everyone keeps saying that, but no one tells me why. Why me? Why not someone trained, someone strong? Kalen's gaze softened, almost pitying. Because strength is not what it seeks. Come. She stood, ignoring the pain in her shoulder, and guided him deeper into the outpost. Hidden doors opened to a chamber untouched by time. Strange markings glowed faintly on the walls, the same symbols that had burned across Ethan's skin. At the center lay a crystal pedestal, its surface humming with quiet energy. Ethan's chest burned in response. The relic inside him pulsed, alive, as if it recognized the place. Kalen's voice lowered to a whisper. This is a shrine of the first guardians. The relic is not just a weapon, it is a bond. It links itself to one who can carry not only its power, but its will. Ethan frowned. Will? What will? Kalen stepped closer, eyes fixed on him. The will to protect. The relic does not choose conquerors. It chooses those who fear their own strength, because only they will wield it with caution. Her words hit him like a blade. He remembered every moment of doubt, every fear of losing control. Was that the reason? Still, the thought scared him. Even if that's true, I don't know how to stop it from taking over. Kalen drew a deep breath. For the first time, hesitation flickered in her eyes. She seemed to be wrestling with something heavy before she finally spoke. There is a way, but it binds us both. Ethan blinked. What do you mean? She turned to face him fully, standing tall despite her wound. Her voice was steady, ceremonial, as if reciting words from long ago. The relic's power was never meant to be carried alone. It was forged in pairs, guardian and anchor, warrior and bride. Without the bond, its power consumes. With it, the relic finds balance. Ethan's heart nearly stopped. Bride, wait, you mean... Kalen's eyes locked on his, unblinking. Yes, a sacred union. Not for love, not for desire, but for survival. If we bond, I will become your anchor. The relic will flow through us both. Together we can control it. Alone you will be destroyed. The chamber was silent except for the hum of the pedestal. Ethan stared at her, stunned. You're telling me the only way I survive this thing is to marry you? A flicker of irritation crossed her face. Do not think of it as your human marriage. This is older, deeper. A soul bond. Once made, it cannot be broken. Ethan tried to laugh, but the sound came out weak and hollow. Great, first alien war, now alien bride. My life just keeps getting stranger. But as he looked into her eyes, he realized she wasn't joking and she wasn't forcing him. She was giving him a choice. Part of him wanted to run, to reject it, to throw the relic away and forget it all. But deep inside, he knew he couldn't. He had seen too much, felt too much. The galaxy was burning, and somehow he was in the center of it. And Kalen, this proud, unyielding alien warrior, was offering to stand with him not as commander, but as partner. His voice came out low, almost shaking. If I say yes, what happens? Kalen stepped closer. Then our lives will be one. Your strength will be mine, my will yours. The relic will see us as a single flame. We will fight as one, and die as one. Ethan's chest tightened. It was terrifying. It was insane. But it was also the first time he didn't feel alone. He met her eyes steady now. Then do it. Bond us. Kaylin's expression softened, just slightly but enough to show something rare in her. Respect, maybe even trust. She raised her hand, placing it over the glowing mark on his chest. Her palm was warm, her touch firm. She whispered words in her own language, ancient and powerful. The relic answered. Light burst around them, filling the chamber. The symbol spread from Ethan's chest to Kaylin's hand, then across her arm, glowing brighter with every word. Ethan gasped as warmth surged through him, not burning, not tearing, but connecting. When the light faded, Kaylin withdrew her hand. A faint symbol now glowed on her skin, mirroring his. It is done, she said softly. From this moment we are bonded. Ethan stared at her, still breathless. So does that make you my wife? Kaylin's lips curved just slightly, the ghost of a smile. If that word helps you understand, then yes. For the first time, Ethan laughed without fear. Guess I should say. Nice to meet you, Mrs. Alien. Kaylin rolled her eyes, but the bond between them pulsed with quiet strength. The relic had chosen, and together they had answered. The stars above the outpost burned with strange light. A great shadow loomed in orbit, an alien warship, vast and terrible, its surface bristling with weapons. Ethan and Kaylin stood at the edge of the chamber, looking out through the shattered walls. The bond between them pulsed steady now like a shared heartbeat. For the first time since all this began, Ethan felt in control. Not alone, but he also knew what was coming. The air split open with a beam of fire as the warship's commander descended. His body was armored in black metal, taller than Kaylin, voice sharp as steel. His eyes glowed with greed when he looked at Ethan's chest. The relic, the commander hissed. At last, surrender it, human, and I may spare your life. Ethan swallowed, but Kaylin's hand brushed against his arm. Steady, grounding. Their bond whispered strength into his mind. He straightened. No deal. You're not taking this. The commander's face twisted with rage. Then you will burn. The ground shook as soldiers poured in, armored beasts and alien fighters filling the ruins. The battle began at once. Kaylin moved like lightning, blade flashing, every strike guided by their bond. Ethan raised his hand and fire burst from his palm, the relic answering with perfect focus instead of wild chaos. For every enemy Kaylin struck, Ethan shielded her back. For every soldier he blasted away, she cut down the ones who slipped through. Together they were unstoppable. But the commander did not wait. He advanced, swinging a blade of dark energy that split stone like paper. Ethan barely blocked with a shield of light, the force shaking his bones. Kaylin leapt forward, clashing steel against steel, sparks flying as she pushed back the monster who had once been her leader's rival. The commander laughed, cruel and deep. You think a weak human and a broken warrior can stop me? The relic belongs to the strong. Ethan's chest flared and the bond surged. His voice rang out clear and steady. No, it belongs to those who protect. With a cry, he unleashed a wave of energy. Kaylin's blade glowed the same moment, the relic's power flowing through her as well. Their strike landed together, human fire and alien steel crashing into the commander. The impact shook the chamber. The warlord staggered, armor shattering, eyes wide with shock. For the first time he looked afraid, but he wasn't done. With one last roar, he gathered his strength, striking a blow that sent Kaylin sprawling. Ethan felt it instantly through the bond, the pain. The breath ripped from her lungs. Rage filled him. But Kaylin's voice whispered in his mind. Not rage, focus, together. He rose, every nerve blazing with light, and helped her to her feet. They stood as one, hands linked, their bond glowing like a star. The relic answered. Their bodies moved in perfect unison, guided not by thought, but by shared will. Fire and steel merged, a storm of power crashing down upon the commander. The final strike split the chamber wide open. The warlord screamed, his body torn apart by the force of their united attack. In seconds he was gone, dust scattered to the void. Silence fell. The alien soldiers froze, their leader destroyed. One by one they dropped their weapons and fled into the dark. The great warship in orbit pulled away, retreating into the endless night. It was over. Ethan fell to his knees, chest still glowing but steady now. Kaylin knelt beside him, breathing hard, but her eyes shone with fierce pride. You did it, she whispered. He shook his head. We did it. Couldn't have without you. The bond pulsed warmly, a quiet agreement between them. For the first time since leaving Earth, Ethan felt like he had found not just survival, but belonging. Kaylin looked at him, her expression softer than he had ever seen. You were chosen because you fear power, but now you understand. Power is nothing without someone to share it with. Ethan smiled weakly. Guess that makes us husband and wife, huh? Kaylin's lips curved into the faintest smile. More than that, partners. The stars burned bright above them, and for a moment the galaxy seemed vast but not empty. Ethan was no longer just a human lost in the void. He was a guardian, bonded to an alien bride, chosen not by chance but by destiny. And as the relic's glow dimmed to a steady flame within his chest, he knew this was only the beginning of their story.